And Mlb, I mean, he has power stuff, man. He throws regularly above 100 miles an hour. I believe he had like 13 or 14 pitches that were at least 100 miles an hour on the radar gun in his first start, which is more 100-mile-an-hour fastballs than his entire team has thrown all season. He did in that one start. You can only face who's in front of you, and he's pitching pretty well. I think if he gets taxed for Max Scherzer being on the mound, just because he has that name, like he's going to be a Hall of Famer. You think you'd be getting taxed, but you're actually getting these underdogs. Of course, you can't lay minus 310. They're a huge road favorite here. I mean, obviously the Dodgers are the way better team. Offense, bullpen, starting pitcher, they have every advantage here, but you can't lay a price on that to the Dodgers. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you for Bettor Off Dead, Monday, June 30th. Starting the new week with an intro here with Toad with a Banger, a song created by one of the listeners. I got to remember who it is because I want to shout this guy out, and I can't remember who the hell it is. I apologize, guy. Thank you for the intro music. I just put together some clips from one of the days that I went 4-0 last week, and that's all I did. It's a terrible intro. Maybe it's better than no intro. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Yesterday was a 3-0 day, so that was pretty good. WNBA hit on the Las Vegas Aces. That was a win. So outright win with an underdog. I mean, obviously you'll take that every time they're winning down the stretch. It was pretty much decided by the end of it. So you knew you were at least going to get the cover on that. And of course, we got the outright win on that. So that was a good one. We had Pittsburgh Pirates. They completed the sweep of the Mets. So that worked out well as well with another easy win too. I think they won 12-1. Is that what it was? Something like that. Whatever it was a blowout win again. They dominated that series. And then something's not right with the Mets. And I think what it is they overly celebrated Pride Day a couple weeks back, and they've been terrible since. So that's what you get, man. The flood is coming back in. It's God telling you you shouldn't be doing that, and I'm going to punish you now. Philadelphia, Atlanta, under also hit. I mean, that was an under all the way. First 5 inning, under. Full game, under. Any way you did it, under was the winner there. I'm going to have 3 unders today, actually, even though it's a short baseball card. We're going all baseball. I'm going to have 2 first 5 inning unders and a full game under, and hopefully I don't screw myself, because I think in these cases we're actually getting some value on some like underrated pitchers for the most part. So that's what I'm going with here. Let's get right into it, baby. Starting with WNBA, because we do have one WNBA game today, and I'm not going to recommend a play on this, but it is interesting. At least it's Indiana and Minnesota, but it's going to be a little bit less interesting because Caitlin Clark is still hurt. She is not coming back for this game. Minnesota obviously is the better team. They're up from 5 to 5.5. They're not an insurmountable favorite here, so oddsmakers are giving some respect to Indiana, especially given the fact that Caitlin Clark is seemingly not playing. It seems like she's supposed to be out until tomorrow, but this line seems kind of short to me if Caitlin Clark is not playing. So we're going to have to see if maybe she is actually going to play, because I would think this line would be a little bit different, but we will see. Maybe some of it is because Minnesota played yesterday, so they are in a back-to-back, but they absolutely did not have to exert themselves as they demolished Connecticut, the worst team in the league, by 39 points, scored over 100. When you do something like that, you're going to potentially be feeling a little bit high on yourselves, though. So I don't know if I love the spot for Minnesota here with no rest. But yet again, I mean, they didn't exert themselves yesterday, so it's not really a horrible back-to-back spot. It's about the easiest a back-to-back spot can get. Indiana, they're continuing a 2-game road trip here. They beat Dallas in the previous game, which I think would have been a bigger game if Clark was playing, because it was going to be the big Clark-Beckers rematch, and Indiana won without Clark. So they're coming off a big game as well, but I think obviously they're going to pay attention to this game against Minnesota. I think it is going to be considered to be a big game for both teams, so it's very difficult to handicap. I don't even know if I want to give it a lean on that. And we have Major League Baseball, obviously. It's a Monday, so Major League Baseball, we have a short Major League Baseball card today. And one thing that I always preach is you look at who played in the Sunday night game, Minnesota-Detroit. It was a big, divisional Sunday night game. It was Skubal night. Skubal pitched well again. But then you look today, oh yeah, neither of those teams are playing today. So unfortunately, we do not get to fade either one of those teams today. But we're going to find some angles here nonetheless. San Diego is at Philadelphia. as we have all evening games today on a Monday. New series starting for every team that's playing today. Philadelphia is actually returning home from a road trip, and they were just in a pretty big divisional series against Atlanta, and they won yesterday 2-1. So a pretty big win there, beating one of their divisional rivals, and now they're returning home. 2-series road trip that took them to Houston and Atlanta. So I think they are in a little bit of a letdown spot potentially, because when you have a team that's returning home from a road trip, like I always say, it gets to be a little bit of a distraction spot sometimes because players have to return back to family life. They have to get some stuff done. But in addition to that, coming off a series like that against the Braves, I think they could be in a little bit of a letdown spot. So I don't think it's the greatest spot for Philadelphia. San Diego's continuing a road trip, and they were just in Cincinnati. So they are flying from Cincinnati into Philadelphia, but they lost the series at Cincinnati, so it might be good to just get out of there and try to refocus. So I think spot-wise, it's a little bit better for San Diego, but for San Diego, Matt Waldron is pitching today. I don't know what we're going to get out of Waldron, man. He has not pitched at all this season. He is a knuckleball pitcher, so he's a little bit all over the place. I mean, his career numbers go back to 2023, and they're not horrible. Basically, it's very Tim Wakefield-esque, to be honest. 4.79 ERA, 1.26 whip. So his numbers are not terrible, but it's like how well he does really depends on how well the knuckleball is going and how much weird movement there is on it and how much he can fool the opposing hitters, because that's pretty much what he does. He has not pitched yet this year, so it's questionable how rusty he's going to be and whatever. I think he wasn't even hurt, I don't think. He was just in the minors for a while, so maybe he will be pumped to get another shot in the majors again. And he is facing Philadelphia, who is a team with a good lineup, obviously, but Waldron, has actually done pretty poorly against them in the past. In 37 at-bats, 297 average allowed, and 836 OPS. Not exactly expecting Waldron to come out and really shut down this good Philadelphia offense. Although, of course, we do have to look at what happened with the bullpens yesterday. Phillies didn't use a whole lot of their bullpen yesterday, with Suarez going 7 innings. Philly, their bullpen's decently intact here. San Diego yesterday with a close loss to the Reds, wound up using more of their bullpen. So even though San Diego has the better bullpen, but they did again have to overly use it, I think, in this series. So I think the rest scenario kind of evens out the bullpen situation. And this is a brutal loss for San Diego, by the way, as they're winning. It's in the 9th inning and then lost, giving up 2 runs in the 9th. Not good. So San Diego's bullpen, a little bit questionable right now. And Philadelphia's got Zach Wheeler on the mound. So obviously Philadelphia has the better starter here with Wheeler being their ace. He's one of the top pitchers in baseball. Despite being 35 years old, 2.45 ERA, 0.92 whip. Home road split's very insignificant, doesn't really matter. This month he's been really good with a 0.78 ERA, 32-7 strikeout walk ratio, striking out at least 7 in all 4 starts. His team has won 3 of the 4 starts. He's been on point, man. He's allowed 1 or 0 earned runs in every start this month, including facing the Cubs and the Mets. So he's facing some pretty decent lineups, although I know the Mets are struggling right now. Wheeler, definitely on point right now. And against San Diego, he has pretty dominant numbers in 92 at-bats, so a pretty significant sample size. He has an 18-2 strikeout walk ratio against him, and it's held him to a 163 average, 420 OPS. So I'm not looking to fade Zach Wheeler in this game, man, even though it is a bad spot for Philadelphia. I think they have a big starting pitching advantage here, and the bullpen edge is kind of erased based on what San Diego's done with their bullpen recently. So probably you got to look to Philadelphia or pass the game here. They're up from -210 to -212, though, so very expensive to play Philly here. 56% of tickets, 84% of the cash coming in on them. Still don't want to do it because I don't like playing on teams in a return home spot like this. Perhaps the way that you want to do it maybe is to look Philadelphia team total to go over, and you'll have to probably get it like 5, 5.5, which is definitely asking a lot. But when a team returns home from a road trip, sometimes their bats will tend to suffer a little bit from that distraction as well. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that either. But I could see them potentially getting to Waldron. Or if you want to go the other way with it and say, well, Wheeler's going to have a good game, you could potentially go San Diego under their team total and expect Wheeler to actually stop them. So that could be the case there. And with Philadelphia, at least their bullpen has actually been pitching a little bit better recently, so you can take that into account as well. St. Louis is at Pittsburgh. Both of these teams are coming off of sweeps. The Pittsburgh sweep was much more satisfying, and they're just staying at home off of destroying the Mets. I mean, that was a pretty impressive performance from Pittsburgh, to be honest. And I believe they did that without Paul Skeens pitching in the series, too, because Skeens pitched the last game against Milwaukee. 30 runs scored by Pittsburgh. They outscored the Mets 30-4 in a 3-game series. Honestly, I think the only way Pittsburgh could go from here is back down, man, because they are not a very good team. Yes, this is a divisional series. Yes, Pittsburgh probably would have a little bit more motivation against St. Louis than St. Louis would have against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh way at the bottom of the division here, obviously. But, again, I don't know how they sustain something like this coming off of a series like this. So I do think Pittsburgh could be in a little bit of a letdown here. They didn't use much of their bullpen at all yesterday. Those Burrows didn't really go that deep into the game, but they pretty much saved their whole bullpen and used Mlb for a lot of the rest of the game. And he did okay. I mean, the game was out of hand at that point anyway, so it didn't really matter. St. Louis is also coming off of a sweep. They swept Cleveland, though, so a little bit of a less satisfying sweep there for St. Louis in an interleague series against a struggling Cleveland Indians team. And they're just going from Cleveland to Pittsburgh. Very short travel spot. So I think the spot does set up maybe a little bit better for St. Louis here. They're coming off a series where they did shut Cleveland out in 2 of the 3 games, though. So that was still pretty impressive as well for St. Louis. St. Louis does have the better of the 2 bullpens here, and it kind of comes down to you got to look at usage. But, of course, they won 7-0 yesterday, so not a lot of bullpen usage out of St. Louis yesterday. They rested their more important relief pitchers yesterday as well. They have Eric Fetty on the mound. St. Louis does today. Not doing that great right now. 4.11 ERA in the season, 1.36 WHIP. On the road, he's been better, though, the 3 ERA. So this matchup might actually help him, although he's not in good form right now. At least he gave up 7 runs to the Cubs last time out, and I gave out the Cubs on the show as a play in that one. So that was a nice, easy win there. Now, I see an argument that, well, maybe that's just a little bit of a blip, right? Because the Cubs have a really good offense. They statistically, historically do pretty well against Fetty. So Fetty might bounce back from that. Yeah, that's true. Like the previous starts this month, he hadn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any of them. He's stepping way down in class to face Pittsburgh. So that is true. But this month, he does not only have a 4.62 ERA, which again is getting skewed by that Chicago start, but 18 to 12 strikeout walk ratio is not that good, though. So his strikeout rate hasn't been that high. His walk rate has been too high this month. So he is struggling a little bit. But then again, he's facing Pittsburgh, stepping back down in class, so he may do well here. He does do better on the road. 71 at-bats in his career against Pittsburgh. He has held him to a 211 batting average at 620 OPS. So Fetty, I mean, he could bounce back potentially and have a better performance here. Pittsburgh, not a very good offense. And you want to talk about bad form, Andrew Heaney has been in worse form than Eric Fetty. He's got a 4.48 ERA now in the season, 1.25 WHIP. And to start the month of June, his ERA was 3.18. And since then, since the start of June, he's put up a 7.01 ERA, and it's skyrocketed his ERA to 4.48. He's given up 7 runs apiece in his last 2 outings. Granted, yes, they were both on the road against Detroit and Milwaukee, so 2 decent offenses. But he also has a 5 to 6 strikeout walk ratio of those last 2 starts, which isn't good. Although 20 to 6 overall in the month of June, so he didn't walk anybody in June until those 2 starts. He's faced a bunch of tough offenses, man. Really all tough offenses. San Diego, Philly, Chicago Cubs, Detroit, Milwaukee. So that's a gauntlet he's gone through this month. So maybe he will do a little bit better stepping back down in class to face St. Louis here. He does have good numbers against him historically. 31 at-bats, 161 average, 461 OPS. But I think Heaney is a little bit less trustworthy than Fetty in this spot, man. And the public is all over Pittsburgh right now, maybe just because of what they just did to the Mets. Everybody's kind of taking notice now. But Pittsburgh's still a bad team, and I think Fetty is still the preferable of the 2 pitchers here. 73% of tickets, 71% of the cash. So Pittsburgh's public with less of the cash on them, even though they are a favorite at minus 110, having flipped from plus 104. I don't think that's a very significant move. So I think the the better way to read into this market here is to say that Pittsburgh's a public team and they're getting less of the money. So slightly into St. Louis there. I don't know if I would do anything else with that game. But yeah, I mean, I think Heaney, because he's put up 2 bad starts in a row, I think it's more of an indicator that he's just coming out of form right now, whereas Fedde, his last start, could be a little bit of a blip. The Yankees are at Toronto. This is going to be a big divisional series, man. Toronto actually only 3 games back of the Yankees here. Toronto is coming off a big series where they just beat the Boston Red Sox, though, unfortunately for me, and they are returning home, but I don't think this is a very typical return home spot where you're going to get like a lot of distractions coming into play here. Yes, they have to return to family life. Yes, they're having to go through customs, whatever, but you have the New York Yankees coming in. You're not going to be unfocused, man. Toronto has the better bullpen, at least, over the Yankees. So that is where we could start here with the handicap, although Toronto did use a decent amount of their bullpen yesterday to save the game against the Red Sox yesterday. They did have to use some of their better relief pitchers yesterday, so that could kind of balance it out a little bit, although I think the Yankees used a lot of their bullpen yesterday as well, even though they beat the A's pretty soundly. But a lot of bullpen, a lot of relief pitchers had to come in for the Yankees yesterday. So not really their best relief pitchers, but they did have to use a bunch of relief pitchers yesterday. So the bullpen situation, a little bit of a wash, but I think I don't know, man, because Toronto used some of their higher leverage relief pitchers yesterday, but overall they do have the better bullpen of the two. So, I don't know, it's tough to say, but I guess you could say it's a little bit of a wash. Yankees are sending Carlos Rodon to the mound. He's having a good season, 2.92 ERA and a very impressive .97 whip. He's been better on the road as well with a 2.57 road ERA. Away from a hitter-friendly Yankee Stadium. He's pitching well this month as well. 3.72 ERA, 29-8 strikeout-walk ratio. Even though the Yankees have lost 3 of his 5 starts, 2 of them were to the Red Sox. He kind of was a hard luck loser last time out against Cincinnati, where he shut them out for 6 innings. That was the game where he went up against Chase Burns, who I'm going to talk about in this video in a minute as well. He pitched well, but his bullpen kind of let him down in that game. Rodon continues to pitch well, though. Up against Toronto, his numbers are kind of mediocre. And 79 at-bats, 22-7 strikeout-walk ratio is pretty good. But Vlad Guerrero Jr. absolutely annihilates him. He's 8 for 12 off him with 2 doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, and no strikeouts. So if you want to look for some player prop potential there, I always recommend hits plus runs plus RBIs. Guerrero, very good against Rodon. Overall, Rodon has allowed a 266 average and 781 OPS to Toronto's hitters, which pretty mediocre numbers there. Mediocre with a somewhat bad OPS, but again, a lot of that damage has been done by Guerrero. I still think we probably trust Rodon a little bit more than Max Scherzer right now, because Scherzer is still trying to come back from injury, and he is 40 years old now, so we have to wait. I think it's kind of a wait and see with Scherzer here, though. 5.63 ERA, 1.5 whip, not very good numbers, although we did see Verlander pitch pretty well yesterday. Scherzer, I mean, he's only made 2 starts this season. He made one really early in the season, only went 3 innings against Baltimore. He got injured, and he came back recently in his last start, which was 5 days ago. He went 5 innings against Cleveland, gave up 3 earned runs. It wasn't terrible, but he did walk 3 guys, and he had 4 strikeouts, so he had a little bit of wildness, but maybe, coming back from injury or trying to work your way back, maybe your stuff, your control just isn't quite there yet. So we might see Scherzer get a little bit better as the season goes on. It's hard to tell, man. He does historically have pretty good numbers against the Yankees, but again, we're talking about future Hall of Fame pitcher who's been really good in the past, obviously, even in the recent past. 147 at-bats he has against the Yankees. He has a ridiculous 60-9 strikeout walk ratio against them. 224 average and 671 OPS. Stanton has hit him well. So lucky for the Yankees, they have Stanton back because he's 7 for 25 off him with 4 home runs. But overall, Scherzer has done well against the Yankees. But I'm not sure that this is quite the right spot for, although the money does look like it's kind of coming in against the Yankees, though. They're down from -148 to -137 here. 52% of tickets, 53% of the cash on Toronto. I'm not sure that I buy that a higher ticket percentages on Toronto. Like, do you really think the public is not playing the Yankees here? I mean, I know they know Max Scherzer, the name, but still, I highly doubt it. They're going to look at him and say, oh, he's old. He's only made 2 starts. He has an ERA in the 5s. I highly doubt that Toronto is the public side here. It does look like the money is kind of coming in on them, though, and maybe it's just professionals thinking, well, the Yankees probably just shouldn't be that much of a favorite here if it's going to be maybe a pitching duel. It looks like public on the over as well, 80% of tickets, but 85% of the cash. It looks like some juice is coming on the over. That kind of surprises me a little bit, although the bullpens could be in line to maybe give up some runs later in this game. But the starting pitching matchup kind of looks like it would be a little bit more conducive to an under than an over. But I don't want to deal with that game at all, man. It's a very tough game to read. Andrew, what's up, man? You watched Angels-Nats yesterday. I forget what happened. I don't even remember what happened at the end of that game, man. You should be ashamed to be a Californian for a lot of reasons, not just because the Angels are bad. I've been to a game out there, by the way. I had fun. I went to an Angels game in probably 2013. I was out there for a graphics conference with my previous company. I went out there with the graphics guy from my previous company, and he didn't want to go to the baseball game. He was not a sports guy, so I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the game because the Angels were playing at home. And they do this thing at the Angels stadium where the last hour before the game, they sell half-price tickets because the games usually don't sell out. And this was a game against, like, the Twins, so nobody really wanted to go to that game. So I was like, hell yeah, all right. So I got, like, a pretty decent ticket. I think I was, like, 6 rows back, a bit, like, I was down, like, the right field line a little bit, like, not too far, like, past the infield, like, decent seats. It was a nice night to watch a game. The game went extra innings, too, so it was a pretty entertaining game with no ghost runners back in the day. So it went like 12, 13 innings. Kind of insane because I'm an East Coaster, so I think the game must have ended at like 3 a.m. East Coast time, but it was like midnight out there on the Pacific Coast. And I was in a section that was like almost all Twins fans, which was kind of even more crazy. And the Twins won the game. And then this woman that I was talking to at the game who was sitting with me and whatever, she offered me a ride back to my hotel and was like, you don't want to have to get a cab. You don't want to have to go through like, these bad areas of Anaheim. Let me just drive you. I'm like, I mean, okay, like you're putting your life in your hands there, though. Although she was kind of a large woman, though, so I was like, I should have been more afraid than she would have been, really, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know if she was trying to make something happen there, but I was like, no, thanks, ma'am. Thanks for the ride. I am just going to go back into my hotel now. And I met up with my roommate again. They're the graphics guy, and we hung out at the bar, and we both kind of fought over the waitress that we had there. And both of us failed, by the way. So that was a fun night, though, nonetheless. Had a fun time at the Angels game there. So that's another Toad story. That's an aside there. Let's get through these games. Cincinnati at the Boston Red Sox. My Boston Red Sox not playing well. Lost to Toronto yesterday. Walker Buehler should ship him out of town. As I said, it was a terrible offseason acquisition. Walker Buehler is never going to be good again, man. He's never going to return back from injury. He's pathetic. Just awful. So he pitched yesterday, did bad. The Red Sox had to use some of their bullpen yesterday. So the Red Sox bullpen, not exactly in great shape. Although it's probably better that Zach Kelly pitched yesterday because that means he's not available today, which is probably better for the Red Sox because Zach Kelly, that guy should have gone out of town a long time ago as well. Get rid of these guys, man. Zach Kelly sucks. Cincinnati is coming into town. They just beat San Diego. They had a pretty good series against San Diego. Cincinnati used a lot of their bullpen as well, though. So the bullpen situation, I hate to say it, but probably still is a little bit in favor of the Red Sox here. But we're not going to, I have a play on this game, actually. We're not going to take into account the bullpens here. We're going under in the first 5 innings in this game, and I found it out there at under 4 at minus 120. You know me, I don't like going under the 3.5. I like having that extra half run in your pocket because if you have a 2-2 tie or whatever at the end of 5 innings, you don't want to lose that bet. You'd much rather push the bet. So I think it is worth it to pay up to minus 120 to get it to 4 because 3.5 is just, you're really, really pushing it. But I like the starting pitching matchup here quite a bit, man. I will take the bullpens out because I don't really think the bullpens are going to be great here. But you got Chase Burns pitching for Cincinnati, who I just referenced. He's only making his 2nd start ever. Hey, he's actually from Italy. I didn't realize that. That's Burns. Is that an Italian name? I don't think so. Bernizzi. Chase Burns, he made one start so far against the Yankees. He gave up 3 runs in 5 innings, so 5.4 ERA, 1.2 whip. Doesn't look that impressive, but if you look at what that start was, he's pitching a Great American Ballpark, which is a very difficult ballpark to pitch in. He did give up a home run, which kind of, that's going to hurt you a little bit. He had 8 strikeouts and no walks against a really good Yankee lineup. So I would say that is pretty impressive, man. So I like Chase Burns. As I pointed out when he was coming up, I kind of compared him to Mlb, although I don't know if he's going to be as good as him, but Burns is a strikeout pitcher. He's a power pitcher. He throws really hard. He can hit 100 miles an hour on the gun. I believe just like Mlb as well, he has a really, really sharp slider as well. Burns, I think, really only kind of has a 3-pitch arsenal, though. Mlb more of like a 4-pitch arsenal. But Burns obviously has the ability to strike out guys at a major league level. I mean, you have a young guy with real talent like that up against an offense that's never seen it before. I think Burns is going to have a little bit of an edge there early on with the Red Sox having to figure him out. And the Red Sox, a lot of young hitters, too. They're going to have to try to figure this guy out. I think Burns does have the advantage. And then on the other side of it, we have the only pitcher that I would really trust with an under for the Red Sox. Garrett Crochet is pitching, 2.06 ERA, 1.02 whip. He's been really good this month with a ridiculous 46-7 strikeout walk ratio. I think he might be leading the major leagues in strikeouts with 135. He's just been really good overall, man. Red Sox have won 4 of his last 5 starts. Lost his last outing, even though he pitched 7 shutout innings against Anaheim and struck out 10. Red Sox bullpen completely blew it for him. He has a 2.1 ERA this month. I mean, he deserves better than this Red Sox offense, man. And this month, he's allowed more than 1 earned run once, which was against the Yankees one time. He allowed 5 runs, but he still had a good outing in that one. 9 strikeouts, 1 walk. You have to go all the way back to April 24th to find another start where he allowed more than 2 earned runs, and he's only done that twice all season. I mean, we don't have to belabor this. We know Crochet is good. The Reds have not seen a whole lot of him. Only 5 hitters on the Reds have seen it before, and they're 1 for 10 off him. The one hit is a Spencer Steer 3-run double, it looks like. But other than that, he's got an 8-2 strikeout walk ratio, so he's recorded 9 outs in his career against Cincinnati hitters, and 8 of them have been by way of the strikeout. He's held him to a 100 average of 450 OPS. So, yeah, I like Crochet. Both pitchers pretty unfamiliar to the opposing hitters, pretty unfamiliar or very unfamiliar. They both are really good strikeout pitchers. Yeah, I think it's a good situation to go under this total here. But again, take the bullpens out, go under first 5 innings here, and hope you can get 4 on this because this total is dropping. The total's already gone down from 8 juice to the over to 7.5 juice to the over, which is a pretty significant move. We see 56% of tickets on the over, 54% of the cash on the under. So the real money to me looks like it is definitely coming in on the under. So I think you got to get this before the line gets a little bit too crazy. If you go full game under on this, I think it's a little bit riskier. I would not disagree with that, but I do think it's a little bit riskier. I think it's preferred to go first 5 innings under in that one. All right. A's, Tampa Bay. Let's go with another first 5 under. How about that? This one I saw at under 4, just straight up at -110. I like the under in this one too, man. I think we're getting a little bit more value on this one, I think, because Jacob Lopez, even though he has more of a history than Chase Burns does, Lopez, I've been talking about how he's really hard to handicap, but I'm basically about to lean towards Lopez is actually good, and we are actually getting some value here looking towards Lopez, but in this case, I'm going to recommend an under. We have Tampa Bay here returning home from a road trip. They went to Kansas City, swept Kansas City, and then they lost 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. But again, whenever you return home from a road trip, man, I always talk about you got to get back to family life. It can be a little bit difficult. It can be a little bit of a distraction. It's not exactly like the A's are a team that's really going to draw your full attention. So I think we might see some distracted hitting out of Tampa here. And now, I don't want to do anything with the bullpens here. Tampa's bullpen is pretty good, but of course, the A's bullpen is terrible. So I want nothing to do with them. Tampa's bullpen is good, though. They didn't use much of their bullpen yesterday in a game that was already a loss, so they just didn't bother with it. But I don't want anything to do with the A's bullpen. The A's are coming in off that series against the Yankees, and they're starting a third straight road series, so their bats might be a little bit tired as well. So I'm starting to definitely like the idea of this under here. Well, obviously I do because I'm giving it out as a play here. The A's used 4 relief pitchers yesterday, so again, not the greatest spot for their bullpen either, but we're not going to worry about their bullpen. We're only going to focus on Jacob Lopez. And if you look at what this guy is doing, man, he has a 3.56 ERA, 1.3 whip, which I know is whip a little bit too high. As far as his splits, yeah, I mean, he has a 4.5 road ERA, which is not good. Surprisingly, he's pitching way better at home at that ridiculous home run park in Sacramento, but his road ERA is going down. If you look at what he's been doing recently, he's been really, really good. The A's have won 4 straight games, including a road game against Detroit last time out where he shut them out at Detroit. 7 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 hits. And this guy's still not being lined like he's anything good. He has a 38-8 strikeout walk ratio this month, well over 1 strikeout per inning, well below 1 hit per inning. Hasn't allowed a home run in 4 straight starts, 2 of those being at home as well. 1.98 ERA this month. I mean, he is in really good form right now. Like Lopez, he came out and he had that crazy start against Philly where he struck out 8, and I was like, man, like, how did that happen? Is this guy good? And then he got bombed by Toronto the last time out. And I'm like, oh, maybe he's not good. He did bad again the next time out against Minnesota, except that he struck out 9 guys in that outing. And then since then, like, basically he's worked his way back in. He's been pretty much good since then. He's allowed 0 earned runs in 3 of his last 4 starts and allowed 1 in the other. He's had at least 6 strikeouts in 4 of his last 5 starts, 9 in 3 of the last 5. So he is definitely pitching well right now, and the Rays have never seen him before. So Lopez obviously has good strikeout stuff. I don't know where he came from. I don't know how he's doing this, but he's doing it. He has good strikeout stuff. He's up against a mediocre offense that has never seen it before. I think Lopez does have a bit of an edge here, and he's up against the most trustworthy of Tampa's pitchers, Drew Rasmussen, who's putting together nice stats this season, 2.45 ERA, 0.96 whip. He's been better at home, actually, even though I know this is a hitter-friendly park, so you do have to worry a little bit, but it is a night game, so at least balls are going to tend to sail out of this park more during the day. But Rasmussen and Lopez, I mean, Lopez is used to pitching in a home run friendly park, right? So that's another thing I like about this is that Lopez has actually been really good in that Sacramento park, even though it is home run friendly. So he's used to pitching in parks like this where balls tend to sail out. So even though I think Lopez is a fly ball pitcher, so that's a little bit of a concern, but go figure. And then, of course, Rasmussen is used to pitching here because that's what he's been doing this season. He has not allowed many home runs this year. He's allowed 5 at home and 3 on the road, but that's still not that bad. And again, at home, he's been even better with a 2.16 ERA at Steinbrenner Field here. Tampa has won 7 of his last 8 starts. This month, he has a 2.73 ERA. He's allowed only more than 2 earned runs once in these 5 starts this month, a 24-7 strikeout walk ratio. The worst start that he had was against the Mets, and he still got a win in that one, gave up 4 earned runs. He's given up 2 and 0 earned runs in the other starts, although granted they were against weaker offenses. The A's offense is just okay. And against the A's offense, they're 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts career off Rasmussen with 2 walks. So Rasmussen is pretty unfamiliar to the A's hitters, and when they have faced him, they have not done well. So under is going to be the recommended play here, but in the first 5 innings, because I don't want anything to do with Oakland's or the A's bullpen, we do see 60% of the cash, 68% of tickets on the over, which worries me a little, but the total did drop a little bit from 8.5 juice to the under all the way down to 8. So I do think that's a legit move. I think under is the right way to look at this, man, at least in the early parts of the game when you have the starters in there. Under in A's Tampa. Baltimore is at Texas. So this is a quick rematch because Texas just won the series at Baltimore. So it is a little bit of a revenge type of situation for Baltimore here. Now, as Texas went to Baltimore and beat them in the last 2 of the 3 games there. Texas coming off a divisional series as well. It was a tough series. They lost 2 out of 3 to Seattle. Texas didn't have to use that much of their bullpen yesterday because Jack Leiter actually did pretty well yesterday for them. So Texas's bullpen is pretty good, and it's in good shape here. Obviously, Texas has the better bullpen, so you got to keep that in mind. Baltimore is coming off a series where they did pretty well against Tampa, but they might carry that momentum out on the road, even though that is a big divisional series. Baltimore's in last place, man, so I don't really know that they're going to overlook anybody. They might still be focused going out on the road to start a series against Texas. Creamer actually did well for Baltimore yesterday, and they actually pretty much saved their bullpen as well. So Baltimore's bullpen is bad, but maybe not in the worst shape here. Trevor Rogers pitching for Baltimore. He's a guy who's kind of confused me, man. 1.62 ERA and 0.78 whip so far in the majors this season. I didn't expect him to do that much because his career numbers aren't that good. He wasn't doing that well in the minors this year, but he has been good so far. With 3 starts in the majors this year, he has a 13-3 strikeout walk ratio. He just shut out this very Texas team for 8 innings. However, the issue with that is now that Texas has seen him once, that probably means that Texas is going to be a little bit more familiar with him, and they're going to maybe be able to hit him better this time out. So I'm not expecting an 8-inning shutout this time out of Rogers, although Texas' offense is really not that good. So he may still do pretty well against them again. And in 58 career bats against them, 207 average allowed, 561 OPS, and 11-2 strikeout walk ratio. Really just Garcia does well against him, 4 for 9 with a home run. So Rogers may very well do well again here, although I don't expect him to do as well as last time. But starting pitching-wise, I think he probably is the better of the 2 pitchers right now up against Patrick Corbin. Because, I don't like Patrick Corbin, and his numbers are starting to get worse. That expected regression is starting to happen with him. 4.24 ERA, 1.28 whip. He has been better at home with a 3.66 ERA, which is where he is here, but he's not in good form this month with 5.48 ERA. That's not good. He's given up at least 4 runs in his last 2 outings. Only gone 5 innings in the last 3. Texas has lost a lot of his recent starts, actually. 7 of his last 10 starts, Texas has lost, although he doesn't get a lot of run support either. 18-5 strikeout walk ratio this month isn't that bad, but he's allowed more than 1 hit per inning. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in his last 3 starts. He's not really pitching that well right now. Against Baltimore, he has not done well in his career. In 56 at-bats, has a good 13-1 strikeout walk ratio, but has allowed a 321 average and 851 OPS. So Baltimore's hitters have done pretty well against Patrick Corbin. So I think Rogers probably has the upper hand of this pitching matchup, and the line has flipped from Baltimore plus 104 to minus 111. 56% of tickets, 57% of the cash coming in on Baltimore. I probably agree with that overall. I mean, I think Baltimore still might have that little bit of quick revenge on their mind there, even though Rogers, again, did just see this Texas offense. Did Corbin face Baltimore? Well, yeah, so same thing actually for Corbin. Corbin just faced Baltimore as well. So both pitchers are in that spot where the opposing offense just saw them. Corbin gave up 5 runs against Baltimore last time out. Way too many hits, 9 hits. Although he had 6 strikeouts, no walks, which is pretty good. But didn't really do too well in that outing. So I still think Rogers, along with the Baltimore revenge spot, makes more sense. If you wanted to go first 5 innings with Baltimore instead, that's fine as well. Just because Baltimore's bullpen is so bad, but Baltimore's bullpen is rested. So if you did want to go full game, I think that's still okay. Kansas City at Seattle. Let's try to finish this off here. Seattle's coming home from a long road trip, man. They went to the Cubs, they went to Minnesota, and then Texas. Now they're returning home. Seattle had to use a little bit of their bullpen yesterday, man. They used a couple of their better relievers yesterday. They used 4 relief pitchers. So Seattle's bullpen, pretty good, but maybe not in the greatest spot here. But I'm still going to suck it up, and I'm going to go under in the full game here at 7.5. I mean, we're in a pitching-friendly park here. I'm going to talk about the starting pitching in a minute. I like the starting pitching matchup for this. And I think Seattle's bullpen is still decent enough, and they're up against a very weak Kansas City offense. So I think it's okay still that we're going to roll with full game here, because if you look at the numbers on this, if you want to go first 5 innings on this, you can. But you're having to go under 3.5 on this one. I just really don't love that. Zach, what's up, man? Yeah, Waka is pitching today. That is correct. Kansas City coming in off of a series against the Dodgers. It is a big series, so both teams are kind of in somewhat distracted spots because Seattle's returning home from that long road trip, so their hitters might be a bit distracted. Kansas City, their hitters aren't good anyway, and they might be a little bit distracted coming down from that series against LA, although they do at least get to go on the road now, but they do have to fly to the Pacific Coast, which can kind of affect your biological clock, and it can kind of affect your timing a little bit. So I think there are reasons to kind of think that both offenses might struggle a bit here, in addition to just looking at the pitching matchup here. Kansas City's bullpen is still a pretty good bullpen, though. And usage-wise, yesterday, I don't think it was that extreme. I think they used 4 relievers. Yeah, they used 4 relief pitchers. They didn't use their best bullpen arms yesterday. So I think including the bullpens here, I think is still fine. And hopefully we get the starting pitching gets us deep enough into this game that we don't have to use the bullpens that much, or the teams don't. Mlb Wnba pitching for the Royals, as Zach just said, 3.33 ERA, 1.22 whip. He is a little bit worse on the road, 3.98 ERA, but again, still pretty good though, and he is pitching in a pitcher-friendly park here. Wnba has been good this month with a 24-6 strikeout walk ratio, even though he does have a 4.63 ERA, which isn't that good. He had one start where he gave up 5 runs against the A's. Other than that, he's allowed 3 or 1 earned run and got 6 innings in the other 3, even though his team lost 3 of 4 of his starts this month. But he's getting absolutely no run support, obviously, which we're going with an under here. The Royals cannot hit. But Walker's been pitching pretty well, man. I mean, he's pretty consistent. That 5-run performance the A's put up against him, that was the only time he allowed more than 4 earned runs all season. Up against Seattle, he does have good numbers and 76 at-bats. So even though they're familiar with him, they haven't hit him that well. 23-6 strikeout walk ratio has held him to a 197 batting average in that large sample size, although a 699 OPS a little bit high because he's allowed 5 home runs. But I'm not that worried about that because this is a park that isn't that home run conducive. George Kirby is pitching for Seattle, and he's working his way back from injury. His numbers don't look good. But I think because his ERA is bad, 5.4, I think we might be getting a little bit of value on the under here. 1.28 whip, so his numbers don't look good. He's been worse at home so far this year, the 6 ERA. But if you look at his career numbers, most of these Seattle pitchers, including him, they're usually better at home. They're pretty good pitchers in general. And if you look at his recent stats, he's been a lot better than his season stats would suggest. Since the last time he's come back from, basically since the starts that he made in May, because he was injured to start the season, basically, so he had a late start to the season. So I think he was just a little bit shaky trying to get back into form. And if you discount what he did in May, his June has been good with a 28-6 strikeout walk ratio, 3.54 ERA, even though his strikeout numbers went back down after a really crazy 14 strikeout performance. But his last 2 starts were on the road. One against the Cubs, who are a pretty good lineup. He gave up 4 runs in that one, but limited the damage because he did give up 2 home runs in that one. That wasn't that bad, considering that the Cubs are a good offensive team. And then he bounced back really nicely with a 6-inning, 1-run performance with 3 hits, allowed 1 walk, 3 strikeouts against Minnesota. They're not a very good offense, but Kansas City's probably an even worse offense. So he's facing a really weak offense here. And up against Kansas City, 44 career at-bats. He has an 8-0 strikeout walk ratio against him, a 182 average allowed, and 451 OPS. Kansas City has very weak numbers up against George Kirby. So under, I think, is the right way to look at this. We have 51% of tickets on the over, 77% of the cash coming in on the under. We see more juice coming in on the total. The total was already lined low. So that, again, the odds makers lining it at 7.5 to open with juice on the under already. That's the odds makers telling you they think it's going to be a low-scoring game. More juice is coming on the under, so I would get this. If you can get it under 7.5, obviously that's the way to go. Under 7, probably still fine. I would not want to go under 6.5, though. So do with that what you will. But 7 is a key number in baseball, man, because it is the number that breaks the 3-3 tie. Those are the 3 plays today. And then we do have San Francisco at Arizona to finish the baseball board off. Arizona staying at home after getting swept by Miami and losing by 1-1 and 2 runs in those 3 games. This Arizona, man, their hitting has been fine. I mean, they were able to score in that series, but their pitching is awful. Their starting pitching has been bad. Their bullpen has been bad all season. things are not looking good for Arizona here, although they might be a little bit pissed, and they're probably going to be focused with a team that's above them in their division coming into their place. So maybe Arizona's going to show up here and be really angry. San Francisco, the one thing you could say is that San Francisco, their offense is worse than Arizona's offense. So there is one advantage for Arizona is that their offense is better. San Francisco's coming off an embarrassing couple of series. They got swept by Miami too at home. So both these teams just got swept by Miami. And San Francisco in their last series lost to the White Sox, which is crazy. Now they're coming back from Chicago to Arizona for this. But both teams might be a little bit focused here because they're coming off such bad performances yesterday. Arizona used more of their bullpen yesterday, and their bullpen is terrible anyway. So obviously San Francisco does have the better bullpen. I mean, it's very simple here. San Francisco has the better pitching, including the starting pitching in this game, and Arizona has the better hitting. And the public usually likes hitting. I usually lean more towards the pitching, and that's probably the way that I would lean here. I mean, you got Logan Webb on the mound here, so he is the best of San Francisco starters, 2.52 ERA, 1.14 whip. He is a little bit worse on the road, though, with a 3.75 ERA, so he does become more hittable on the road. He's been really good this month in 5 starts, 1.85 ERA, 36-6 strikeout walk ratio, and he didn't walk anybody in 3 of the 5 starts, although his team only won 3 of the 5 starts because his team can't hit. Up against Arizona, he does have good numbers in a large 126 at-bat sample size, 32-5 strikeout walk ratio, 198 average, 523 OPS. So he is, in a large sample size, he has done quite well against Arizona. So he has stifled Arizona's offense. That's what I'm saying. Even though Arizona, they're going to want to show up here. They're going to be an embarrassed team. But their offense, that's the one edge they have here is their offense. And obviously, they can be stifled by Webb because he's done it multiple times before. Arizona has Ryan Nelson pitching, and he's pitching well this season, but I'm not really a fan, man. Webb is definitely the better pitcher. Although Nelson, I mean, we do have to admit that he's pitching fairly well this season. 3.71 ERA, 1.05 whip. He's actually been better at home, even though this is a hitter-friendly park in Chase Field. Ryan Nelson with a 2.25 home ERA. This month, 4.34 ERA. Not really that good, though. 17-10 strikeout walk ratio. So his strikeout walk ratio, really not good this month, but in his last 3 outings, his team has won all 3 of them, and he's allowed 1 or 0 earned runs at all 3 of them. Against San Diego, who's pretty good, Toronto, a decent offense, and then the White Sox, a terrible offense. But he's kind of escaping, man, because he is still walking a lot of guys. So I don't know how he's doing this. Or actually, if you go all the way back through, all the way back to like mid-April, he's allowed more than more than 2 earned runs and only 1 start. But in a lot of these one outing, I guess. But in a lot of these, he was coming out of the bullpen for some of these outings. In a lot of these outings, he didn't throw that many innings, though. So I still don't think Nelson is that good. And the Giants have good numbers against him. At 54 at-bats, 8.4 strikeout walk ratio is not very good. 296 average, 845 OPS. So I think the pitching matchup definitely in favor of Webb and the Giants. And they still have the better defense. The better pitching. And the public looks like they're all over Arizona. 72% of tickets and only 63% of the cash. And when you see a public home underdog like this, you almost always want to go with the road favorite. Even though San Francisco's down from -148 to -130, I think it's San Francisco money line in this game or pass. Full game, I think, is fine, including the bullpens, because San Francisco does have a bullpen edge as well. I don't know why the money line dropped, because it looks like the percentages are telling you something here, man. And again, you very rarely see a team that's a public road underdog like this. And like a public home underdog, excuse me. Like I said, the public, they like offense, man. So they're on Arizona. They probably see, Nelson's ERA is good. We have the better offense. Let's go with Arizona here. Both teams have looked bad. Recently, San Francisco has looked really bad in the public's eye because they can't hit. But I just don't think so. I think it's either San Francisco or a pass on this game. It's not going to rise to the level of a play, but it is close, man. Seeing a market read like this, it's very tempting to say, yeah, you should play San Francisco here. And the pitching matchup, the numbers are really crazy with the starting pitching matchup, man. So you know what? I'm thinking about it. I'm very tempted to do it, to be honest. Man, it's tough. Should I do it? Let me see. What does Action Network have? Looking at their numbers here, because the numbers on the totals look pretty good. But am I really going to give out 4 baseball plays on a Monday? Am I really not going to be able to control myself? Action Network seems to have the money percentage coming in on the D-backs. I mean, both teams are definitely going to want to bounce back here, but the D-backs are just awful, dude. You know what? I'm going to do it. I can't resist. I think it's just the starting pitching matchup, I just think is too far in favor of San Francisco, man. Full game, San Francisco, minus 130, so 4 plays today. Whatever. That's going to do it, man. It means my Instagram is going to have more videos today. It's a very loaded card for a Monday, man. So, again, under in the first 5 innings in Reds, Red Sox, the battle of the red teams. Under first 5 innings, A's, Tampa Bay. Under full game, Royals, Mariners, and San Francisco Giants money line. Crazy. 4 plays today. That's going to do it. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Go check out Bettor Off Dead on Instagram for the shorter, probably somewhat more funny videos where I give out the same plays that I do here, but in short form, so people maybe pay more attention to it, and maybe people will actually start following me more. But yeah, man, I mean, subscribe and follow to everything Bettor Off Dead, man. Like, comment, etc. Let's go. Let's get some more traction here, man. People are just too autistic for these long form videos, man, unfortunately. You can still support Tower Gang if you want, patreon.com/Tower Gang. There may be a possibility that it comes back, but I don't really know. But at least you still get to hang out with us in a Telegram, and you get all the bonus content still if you do that. And there probably is going to be a Toad Patreon pretty soon where it'll cover, you'll probably get some Bettor Off Dead bonuses. Maybe you'll get in a Telegram with me or something. And there's going to be like a ukulele feed, I think is what I'm going to do, where you get my ukulele stuff on Spotify, even though it'll be like as a podcast, but you'll be able to get that. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to be doing. So, or maybe if they have private playlists, maybe I can just do it. I don't know. I'll have to figure something out, but something like that. So I'm thinking about it. I will be announcing something about that probably. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, we'll figure it out because I want to start at least getting some income off of this, man, while I'm basically destitute and might have to move out of my house here. So thanks, guys, for hanging out. Let's start off the week right. Let's have a good Monday. Peace.